François Hollande a déclaré jeudi que la France et la Grande-Bretagne exerçaient des pressions auprès de l'Union européenne pour lever l'embargo syrien afin d'envoyer des armes aux rebelles.
Nous devons considérer que, pour le moment, malgré toutes les pressions, les solutions politiques ont échoué, ce qui est regrettable. Mais que, justement, avec la pression militaire, elles peuvent retrouver une consistance. Il y a un moment où les garanties étant obtenues et les solutions politiques n'ayant pas été saisies, où la responsabilité doit être prise. C'est une décision grave. Nous ne la prenons pas seuls. Le Royaume-Uni est sur la même ligne que nous. Mais je pense que c'est notre devoir.
L'Allemagne et d'autres pays d'Europe se sont montrés sceptiques à l'idée de fournir des armes aux combattants rebelles, de peur que cela ne mène à une escalade de la violence.
We turn now to a question being asked by American authorities after so many videos and images of ISIS. U.S. counterterrorism officials asking why are ISIS fighters driving so many similar trucks and where are they getting them from? Look at these images. ISIS fighters riding in Toyota pickups and Toyota Land Cruisers. Why ISIS has so many Toyotas? ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross looking for answers tonight.
The Toyota Hilux pickup is one tough truck. As the BBC auto show Top Gear demonstrated.
Here it is!
Seemingly indestructible, which has made the Toyota Hilux a truck of choice in war zones around the world, including by ISIS. Their propaganda videos show convoys made up mostly of Toyota Hilux pickups and Land Cruisers. And now ABC News has learned that a U.S. Treasury counterterrorism unit is asking Toyota to help them determine how so many of its trucks, both newer and older models, have ended up in the hands of ISIS.
There are too many that could be just stolen. We believe that sales are being diverted from these dealerships in order to support ISIS. I think it's a concern to the United States government and our allies.
The Iraqi ambassador to the United States says ISIS has hundreds of brand new Toyotas in its fleet.
How could these four-wheel drives, with hundreds of them, where are they coming from?
Toyota says it does not know how ISIS is getting its vehicles and that it is impossible to control indirect or black market sales. But no one from Toyota would agree to appear in our report. And when we went to last month's big Toyota dealer meeting in Las Vegas, hotel security officials flashed lights into our camera lens and ordered us to stop taping or else.
Sir, if you could just walk right out this way.
I am concerned about this report about Syrian rebels and the ceasefire with ISIS. Senator
but
Paul,
that's not true.
Well,
it's not true.
It's not true.
Whether I don't care about the report. I know these people intimately. We talk to them all the time. But also let me point out that if we are going to conduct a conflict the way you are describing it, and I'm afraid that's the case, this is reminiscent of Vietnam, the gradual escalation that ended up in one of the worst defeats that America has ever suffered.
Let me ask you about what your colleague Rand Paul said about it this morning. He said it's a mistake to arm them. Most of the arms that we've given the so-called moderate rebels have wound up in the hands of ISIS because ISIS simply takes it from them or it is given to them and we mistakenly actually end up giving it to some radicals. How look, things are very...
Has Rand Paul ever been to Syria? Has he ever met with ISIS? Has he ever met with any of these people? No. We're going to have a fight because it's patently false. This is the same Rand Paul that said we didn't want to have anything to do with anything to do in the Middle East, by the way. I don't want to get in a fight with him at all. Yeah. But it's not true. I know these people. I'm in contact with them all the time.
All right, then let me ask...
U.S. President Barack Obama is facing harsh criticism from many of his Washington colleagues. Senator John McCain and others lambasted Obama for taking too long to act against the Islamic State in Syria. U.S. military is already bombing ISIS jihad troops in northern Iraq, but the commander-in-chief is hesitant to pull the trigger across the border. But a group of left-leaning veteran activists are blaming John McCain himself of supporting ISIS soldiers in their fight against Bashar al-Assad just last year. VoteVets.org points out that a picture of McCain standing with people they call ISIS leaders. It's a claim that no media outlet has been able to confirm, and McCain calls it a lie. But the senator and American government have given loads of cash to the Syrian Free Army over the past several years, trying to overthrow Assad and his murderous regime. Nearly 200,000 people have already died in Syria. Another 3 million are refugees. The problem comes in because many of the people fighting in the Syrian Free Army are also fighting with the Islamic State. They're facing the same foe, sharing weapons, funds, and equipment. In the eyes of Assad's regime, they are one and the same. Several other countries also funded Assad's opponents over the last 43 years. France, Britain, and Saudi Arabia are some of the biggest donors. The Free Syrian Army has taken a brutal beating over the last several years, and many of those troops are taking American weapons and using them to support the Islamic State. So while ISIS poses a real and immediate threat to Baghdad, one of the U.S. biggest projects, ISIS is also fighting against one of America's biggest opponents just next door. In a roundabout way, it appears that U.S. money is directly supporting the Islamic State.